Now I had to begin the building of the bunker. They called bunker the armored part at the front of the boat, which was situated below the wooden cabin. Now really those circular cutters do 8 jobs when it comes to this kind of scratch building work. Now I certainly had to use several thick plastic bits in order to strengthen the construction. Now the circular plate-like surface at the top of the bunker was cut using my circular cutter. Of course, gluing this kind of thing is not really an easy matter, and you put plenty of glue on your hands in the process. Oh dear. After the plastic, let's use some balsa wood. More cutting and trimming, this time for the cabin at the top of the boat. Here, of course, the main difficulty is to get some really square angles. Now, of course, I really needed to sound all those windows and openings. Then I know that a lot of people would have modeled the cabin using plastic. Indeed, you can get edges that are straighter, the plastic is less fragile, etc. The problem is that I truly believe that when you want to model some material, you have to choose the same material in scale. The fact is that the light plays on the painted material differently if you use the real thing, and also has the right texture. I mean that when people will have a look at this diorama, they will just know the cabin is being made of wood. Now let's use some white glue in order to glue all those elements together. Don't use too much glue though, or the wood will curl. I covered all the joints using some wooden paste, some grey Tamiya mastic and white squadron putty. The reason why I used all this different stuff will be apparent when I start telling about the way I painted this hull. I finally managed to get all those angles right using the plans I had. After the cabin as well as the bunker were finally built, it was time to set up the right size of the diorama. So I placed all my elements together on some cardboard and traced a square around them before cutting it. Indeed, I find it really hard to set up the size of a diorama before all the separate elements are all built and put in place. Indeed, I've always been thinking that a diorama size shouldn't certainly be bigger than its idea. Then I started to use some layers of thick light cardboard with foam inside it to get the rough shape of the sea, digging a hole in it so that I could later place the bunker inside of it. Now that's what I call the first part of actually sculpting the sea. You can't model the smoke, you can't model the fire. You can't model the smoke, you can't model the fire, and you can't model the smell. But if you are wise enough, tools exist so that you can build the sea of your dreams, providing you don't want to model the spray, of course.